So greetings all. Thanks to TopSport, we're doing a Group 1 preview and we're going to have a look at the George Main Stakes, which is at Randwick over the mile. And I'm joined by Mark Rhoden. How you going, Mark?
Very well, Mark. Good to talk to you.
Yes, good to talk to you as well. We're back into Group 1 action in Sydney. So got the George Main over the mile. Pretty small field. Bit of quality in there, but yeah, small field nonetheless. So we might just have a quick look at the map. I imagine it's fairly uncomplicated with a field of 7.
Sorry, wrong race. Start. There we go. Dream Force is the obvious leader. Thought Colding might go forward with the lack of really anything else that likes going forward. I mean, Star of the Seas, Avilius, and to a lesser extent, Imaging and Very Elegant aren't really go forward horses. Colette could even end up forward in midfield by default, but these back 5 could pretty well be in any sort of order. I think he'll hold a spot on Very Elegant, but I think Dream Force leads from Colding at a pretty moderate tempo. It's worth pointing out with a sort of moderate northeasterly forecast tomorrow on a true rail, it can be difficult for leaders. I actually had a look at the stats before doing the form for this meeting, and only 5 leaders have won on true rails on good tracks at the last 4 meetings here, so that's 5 out of 36, which is 4 leaders. Yeah, pretty right. Actually, the way I divide them, things settling 5th or worse, so midfield to back won 21 out of those 36. So actually settling midfield and off was the best spot, which is very rare.
Yeah, right. That's interesting.
I mean, in a small field, that probably is less of a factor, but it's something to bear in mind for the meeting as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, the rails and the true, you were saying?
Yep, rail true. Little bit of rain forecast, maybe race morning, but they've had really warm weather up there. I assume they won't irrigate too much of it all, so you would assume it's a firm track.
Good stuff. All right. Well, might run through the field quickly, seeing there's only 7 of them. So at the top is Avilius, which is $5 at the moment with TopSport.
Yeah, I'm just dragged right at the back first up, totally unsuited, and won this race last year. He was 3rd up last year, but he's in a race he can win for sure. He probably will be giving a start away, but and he's getting on now, probably past his very best, but he's still capable of being competitive in a race like this for sure.
Yep. The 2 is Dream Force, also $5 at the moment.
Yep. Dream Force, another one I think who might be a bit past his best. He looks to get Nat favours with, getting the lead on his own. Whether that's going to be an advantage on Saturday, I'm not sure, as I just mentioned. He got the job done last start in the tramway. That was a bit of a funny race. It looked like he'd worked early, but the sectional suggested it was a pretty moderate pace, and it was a really good ride by Nash, actually. And he actually only fell in the end, up to 1,600. And ratings-wise, that, he was about 3 lengths off his very best. So if he is, in fact, past his best, despite the Nat favours, I think he might be beatable at the finish.
Yeah, okay. Number 3 is Colding. Looks like there might have been a touch of money into $10 with TopSport at the moment.
Yeah, he's been around that much. Yeah, he was as big as 13 earlier. Yep, so that's true. He was good behind Dream Force last start, actually. He settled closer. He was one of that sort of leading bunch of 3 or 4 that were up in the speed, and he ran well. And the mile at Randwick, he won the Epsom last spring. So, obviously the Randwick mile's right up his alley, and assuming a similar sort of positive ride, I think he's got some chance. He's meeting, things like Very Elegant. You wouldn't think you could beat her at weight for age, but I think he's, with the right run, he's competitive. I've got him marked around $9, so the 13 might have interested me, but, in around 10, 11, it's not massive.
Yeah.
Not a massive image there. He's sort of getting into his right price now. I think people might have mapped it the same way as me and think he's going to get a pretty good run.
Yeah, had those, you mentioned he won the Epsom, he had a couple of big wins, and then didn't
Eagle.
quite reproduce it in the...
No, he Then he was unsuited first up, but last start showed that he might be on the right track in getting back to that kind of form.
Yeah,
which, yeah, he'd need to be a chance of actually winning this race.
Good stuff. Number 4 is our second Waller runner, Imaging, which is $9 with TopSport.
Yeah, ticking over okay. Was a bit unlucky in the missile first up, and then closed off well without the clearest passage in the Wink Stakes behind. Very elegant. Sort of thought he might be a wet tracker, but he's won on dry overseas, so I assume that won't be a problem. He's just another one that it's sort of hard to, unless Very Elegant's off her game, it's hard to see him turning the tables on her. I've got him, I think, around $11. So again, pretty similar. Pretty similar to them. Certainly not a betting proposition for me at this stage.
Sure. 5 is Star of the Seas, which is $8 at the moment. Yeah,
he was terrific going to the line with Very Elegant in the Wink Stakes first up. Has run some really... Yeah, he was second in the Doncaster. That was the run I was thinking of. So he's certainly capable of pulling out a big run on his day. Whether he's run well on the dry before in restricted grade. Some of these absolutely... top-notch performances have been on soft ground, so that might be what he needs at weight for age level. But if he doesn't, he's in the race. The market's sort of assessing him like me, sort of in between. So I think everyone's got that sort of query about whether he might need a wet track to compete at the top level. But certainly can't take anything away from the merit of the run first up, and trialled well since too.
Sure. Number 6 is the hot favourite, Very Elegant, which is $2.20 with TopSport at the moment.
Yeah, excellent win first up. Did a fair bit of work in the run too, but only beat Star of the Seas narrowly, but it was an excellent win. She'd never really performed at her peak first up before, so that was another change. If that's going to set the tone for her campaign, she's obviously the one to beat. A little knock might be that she's another one who's probably at her very best with a bit of sting out of the ground. So if there's not much irrigation or rain, and it is in the 3 range, that could be a little negative. She's certainly the one to beat. I don't want to take 230, 240. No, to be honest, I've got to make the bet 280. Clearly on top. Not a bet at that price, no.
No worries. And at the bottom's the outsider, Colette, $31 at the moment.
Yeah, terrific winner of the Oaks in the autumn, but not proven out of her own age group. And looks tested here. We'll be looking for her later over more ground. I don't think she'll be beating open age at weight for age at this stage at a mile.
No worries. So, betting wise, always pretty tricky to find much value in a field of this size. You mentioned you'd want Very Elegant out significantly on 220.
Yeah, I'd take 280. Even on a firm track, I'd take the risk on that. At a 280 is a backable price, but it's just it just happens so often these days that all the percentage goes into the ones at the head of the market. It's certainly the case here, and you really just have to wait and see. And if when the market settles down the last 5 minutes, it gets out, I might be interested. But I'm very, very similar to the market. I'm 280 her. Where am I? $5 a Villiers, same as the market. $7.60 Star of the Sea. So it's a tiny bit of overs, but not really a bet. Colding saying being $9, you can get 10, 11. So the horses that I've got marked, length and a half, 2 lengths off Very Elegant. There's not enough edge to bet there. Then Dreamforce and Imaging. I think Dreamforce is unders at 550, and especially if leaders aren't winning, I expect him to drift. And then up to 33 is Colette. So it's an interesting little race. But in the small field with a compressed market, I can't really see a bet at this stage. But I'll, if I wanted to back anything, it'd certainly be Very Elegant, and I'll be keeping an eye on the market.
Fair enough. So, pretty good day racing anyway. Aside of that, have you had much of a look at the meeting, and does there look to be much action?
I actually wanted to back Air to Air in the last race, but she's going around in the Tibby at Newcastle this afternoon from a bad barrier, so I don't know if she's a great bet there either. But there's there'll be a little bit of action. I think Dirty Work might be backable in the shorts, and the Probable Reloaded race is very interesting as well. So, yes, I'm sure there'll be action. It's a pretty good card.
Good stuff. All right, thanks for that. We'll catch up in the coming weeks as the Group 1 start to pile up. We'll do a preview of them. So we will chat again soon.
Excellent. Look forward to it.
Cheers.